said that in his opinion the whole thing is a law in the sense that the speed limit is a law, not in the sense the laws of physics are laws. That simply Time Lords are only supposed to get 13 incarnations. But if there's no one else around to stop you, you can potentially go on for as long as you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was, yeah, I mean, the 13th regeneration thing was just an arbitrary number that they threw in there during the Baker era. Mm-hmm. Because the writers wanted to make, it was a story, I can't remember the full thing of the story, but they wanted to show that Time Lords could die. But, that was just an arbitrary number. And as long as the ratings are good, honestly, we're going to keep getting Doctor Who. And in the Sarah Jane Adventures, where she actually meets, where Sarah meets Matt Smith's Doctor, they changed, Russell T Davies changes the number again to like some crazy 700 number.
507.
Yeah.
I looked this up earlier.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. So, I think it's arbitrary. I don't think he had it set a number like that. Because, I think because the Doctor's the last, no one's going to stop him. Mm-hmm. I mean, plus he's the Doctor. They've tried stopping him before. And he just keeps doing his own thing. And also, I've always said, this is sort of my own little opinion, that I still think there are Time Lords out there. The Face of Bo said he wasn't the only one. People assumed that meant there was just the Master. But come on. Do the Time Lords really want to mess with the Doctor anymore?
I don't think Sexy would let them mess with the Doctor. She stole him, and she's not giving him back.
Well, that's true, and I know that. Oh, that was so awesome. I mean, there's some great.
You can go cry now.
Yeah, there's some great lines in there, and then let me continue down my list of homage. The part, because I really dissected this episode, because that's how much I love this episode. The patchwork umbrella, I think that's a reference to the umbrella he used to carry as Seven Sylvester McCoy. But of course, I thought it would be funnier if he would have said, I had a patchwork jacket like that, which would definitely be a reference to the Sixth Doctor, Colin Baker, because his clothes were extremely patchworked, like those monsters, or those monsters as people. And then we have a reference, I think, in a sense, to School Days, when you have Rose and Sarah Jane talking about how he loves to stroke pieces of the TARDIS when nobody's looking.
He likes to caress her.
He does like to caress her. And then, just references to Sexy and Old Girl, which have been in the show. I don't know when they first started, but they've been there a long, long time. So what were some of the things, now that I've rattled off all this, that you really, really liked about the episode? I mean, like, certain lines or certain things they did. What really, I'm just going to throw this out here for anybody to answer. What do you think, what was magical about this episode for you?
Everything.
I like biting. It's like kissing, but there's a winner.
Nice. I gotta give you some of this for that one.
That's like...
Is this your, new play style?
No.
Okay.
I just like...
What?
I thought you
said...
No! Delayed reaction!
Yeah.
Pause. Another one. I just think it's cool that the Doctor got to be kissed and semi-made out with and kind of tongued by his own TARDIS, who at the time he didn't realize was his own TARDIS. He just thought it was a mad woman. But, I don't know, I just thought it was just...
Never before have so many people in this room envied a police box.
They have such a bittersweet connection. It was just so sweet at the end. And just the, him saying goodbye to her because he wasn't able to be connected in that same way, but yet they were stronger bond at the end, even though her physical form as a human was gone.
Yeah.
It was really sweet. I agree it was like a love letter.
Yeah.
Completely, but I don't know, it just gave me goosebumps and it was amazing.
Yeah, like I said, Gaiman's amazing when it comes to his comics and the stuff that they film and his short stories. He's just a genius, especially when there's something visual to go along with it.
One idea I've seen tossed around that explains the B plot for this episode is that Moffat took a look at the script and he said, okay, this is good, but you know what it's really missing? Rory hasn't died in it yet. Fix that.
Oh man.
Or how the TARDIS thought that, you know, the pretty one. We all were thinking, oh, it's Amy. It has to be the ginger.
No, see, I actually was thinking, what better person for the TARDIS to pick as the pretty one?
Is
Rory. I mean,
It makes sense.
The unappreciated, hardworking one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting for that. Because it was too obvious for it to be Amy.
But you know how some people were like I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be Rory, but in the back of my head, it's like it could be, maybe, but it would be too predictable that way.
Yeah.
But it's still like, you know how Matt Smith or the Doctor was like, the pretty one. That's not the pretty one. But yeah.
Although
I think that just proves that you can disagree with your TARDIS.
Yes.
Rory
Yeah.
did bother me a little bit, just because it seemed like he had a much safer, smarter thing to say rather than killing us quickly would be too easy. He could have instead said, I have the sum collected knowledge of 2,000 years of the place we're going.
Yeah, but I think, unfortunately, that's would have been too smart for him to say.
Yeah,
I mean, if he
a little
could,
bit.
if that guy could transfer souls from TARDISes to people, couldn't he transfer the consciousness of Rory back to the TARDIS and kind of assimilate it himself?
Yeah.
If Rory had just said that?
He left the machine behind.
Yeah, it's really... Yeah. No, the actual machine that they put her in.
Okay.
Because...
you can't go back for that?
Because they didn't think about it.
Well, no, because once Mr. House left his shell to go into the TARDIS, they only had 3 hours. And I think that guy, or that entity, was so high on being able to move, to escape, that he wasn't... the creature itself was not thinking straight either.
Yeah, that universe is going to be gone about the same time that the Doctor and the TARDIS left.
Yes, but Rory said that before the Doctor and the TARDIS left because they had that whole, running through the corridors, die Amy, die thing before the telepathic communication.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you like how we got to see a lot more of the TARDIS?
Yeah, I did. Oh, actually, I would say that is probably a little bit of homage to Tom Baker, because there was one episode, I wish I could remember what it was, where they were just running and running and running through the TARDIS. So, I mean, again, there's lots of history in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I really got to go back and try to find, references to the first Doctor, because I think all the Doctors are referenced somehow, some way in this episode.
I thought it was interesting, the creative process that went into the episode, where Neil Gaiman had said that it started out with him thinking, what would be really cool as a story? What if we did the most dangerous game, only it's the Doctor being hunted inside of the TARDIS? And then he said, no, that doesn't make any sense at all, because the Doctor knows everything about the TARDIS. He's in his element there. He is not in danger for as long as he is in the TARDIS. So then he said, okay, what if we put a companion or two in there, and the companion gets hunted? Oh, but then I've got to transfer the TARDIS's consciousness to somewhere else. And that's where the rest of the story came from.
Nice.
And then he was just watching, Sweeney Todd or
Yeah.
Before Christmas, and it all came together.
Hey, but we now know that the Doctor not only finds, bow ties cool, fizzes cool, and now bunk beds cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
But speaking of Neil Gaiman, and I'll throw this out to everybody, do you think Neil's ever going to write another episode of Doctor Who?
I have an answer to this. I had read just today that his official stance on that is they haven't asked him yet. But if it were up to him, he'd just have a backup Neil Gaiman who could just sit in Cardiff and just continue to write Doctor Who episodes. The problem is his time is sort of limited, And the reason this episode is so good is because he spent about 2 years writing it.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is I don't think we're going to see him write an episode for the next 2 years. I think we're going to see it for the 50th anniversary. Because to me, this was sort of...
Segueing, maybe?
Well, not segueing, but an anniversary type of episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because it did tie so much of past to from classic to current into the episode, if you knew where to look. So to me, I mean, I would love to see him write something for the 50th anniversary. Because to be able to let him actually use any of the characters, any of the companions that are still alive, any of the doctors that are still alive, in one giant story would be, I think, absolutely amazing. I'd love to see Moffat and him, plot out that 50th anniversary. Because I think it would be amazing.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Their love child. You would watch their love child.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna move on to what I'm deeming. Actually, wait. What didn't you like about this episode?
Well, now that I found out through the extras or the after thing of what Neil Gaiman was disappointed that was cut.
Yeah.
Was a scene in the junkyard that because I didn't really because I'm still really new to Who. So, but I think it just the concept of them looking for TARDIS parts and only seeing junk, and then having I can't remember the name they gave the TARDIS.
Well, I mean, it's a chameleon circuit. Is what was hiding everything.
And they made her shut it off, but they cut it out. But I thought that would have been actually kind of really nifty to see, instead of them just being like, haha, because didn't the planet, during the show slowly start kind of changing? It
seemed like it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clayton pointed that out. At one point.
Yeah.
It was sad that scene was cut out. And I'm not 100% sure if that scene was actually filmed or not, but I do know that there was 11 minutes cut from the actual episode.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, hopefully when it's released on Blu-ray, we can have the option of watching the episode with those 11 minutes put back in. Because I think this could just possibly be an amazing 11 minutes. But, still, with them out, it was a phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
And if you want to, hear Neil Gaiman actually talk about that scene, you could catch it on GallifreyPirateRadio.com, where I have taken the YouTube clip and put it there, so you can take a look at what we're talking about.